Hey YouTube, what's going on? Welcome to my new house. It's kept me pretty busy the last few weeks, but it's been making me think a lot about Joshua 24. In that verse, it's one of the more famous verses you'll see on people's homes and little signs and things like that, where it states, "As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." But when I started researching that verse a little bit, it really started making me thinking about this idea of the American dream. How do faith and the American dream work together? So stick around and I'll let you know more. All right, so if you're wondering where I'm making this connection between faith and the American dream and how Joshua 24 plays into all of this, when we look at the situation Joshua's in, the people are struggling to let go of the past and the traditions of their forefathers. At the same time, they're starting to indoctrinate a little bit of the new area that they're living in. And so it made me think about this idea of how do we make sure that we're continuing to put our faith first? Because that's what he was really calling them to do, was to make sure that they were worshiping God and not these other gods from these other traditions. And so it really made me start thinking about the American dream. And when we're pursuing the American dream, are we truly following God? Is the American dream really what God wants from us? What is the American dream? When we really think about the American dream, this is what we think about. We think about big houses, new houses. We think about our career and our finances, a good credit score, starting a business, getting wealthy, doing all these things. That's the American dream. But is that what God really wants from us? Is that what he hopes for us to attain in this life? I don't think it is. So why do I think that there's a problem? Because Jesus himself tells us that we can't worship both God and money. That's one of the very specific things that he told us, that those two things can't go together. They simply can't. And so if we over-focus on our house and on our wealth and our status in this world, we can't really follow God the way we want to. And so the American dream, in my mind, actually seems opposed to where our faith needs to be. All right, so you might be looking at me, though, as someone that just bought a house and say, well, isn't that kind of hypocritical? Yeah, I guess so. But I want you to understand where I'm going with this and where I'm going with these videos, this ministry, and everything else. Right now, I'm an IT guy, and I make a decent living working in my own consulting practice. And as great as that is, I kind of realized that focusing on my career and making money and doing all these things wasn't bringing me the joy and the satisfaction that I was looking for. And I always knew that I wanted to be in ministry, and I had this calling that God had given me. So I'm pursuing that now. I'm going back to school. I'm starting this channel. I'm building more websites. I'm doing all these things because I want to put my faith first. It's got to be the most important thing in my life. I don't want this house to define me. I don't want my career to define me. I don't want my bank account, my credit score, or any of those other numbers to define me. So the American dream, it's a great ideal, and I understand why people want to do it. But we got to make sure that we're focusing on what the real American dream is. One of the greatest things that we have in America is religious freedom. The fact that we can worship God right here, right now, in the way that we choose, that's the American dream. That's what's so beautiful about this country, is the freedom that we have. It's not about the finances. It's not about opportunity or whatever we may get from this society. It's about the freedom that we have to live and be who we want to be, including whether we're Catholic or Protestant or Muslim for that nature. It doesn't matter what religion we choose. We have that right. That's the American dream. And if you wanted to ask me what the next steps in the American dream are, it's that we would have racial equality, that we wouldn't have prejudices of any sort, that we would close the income equality that we have in this country, that we would learn to love each other and work together, that we wouldn't make every issue in this country, even a pandemic, focused on politics, that we wouldn't be divided on every issue based on red and blue, left and right, that we would come together and realize that we are one society. Especially as Christians, that I understand that we believe and have different ideals, but we're all Christians and we're all Americans, and we should unite in these things. So if you want to learn more about why I think the American dream is a farce, I've got some other videos here that I'll link for you. But in the meantime, check out some of my other videos. If you like this one, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks. Bye-bye.